Hey everybody, this is Joe. Thank you for watching my Giga-Texas construction update video.
Well, welcome back to Giga-Texas on a Monday, another very busy day with a lot of interesting things that I want to show you in the video. But there's actually 4 things I want to highlight in the intro just to pay attention to. First, on the south end at that directional drilling area, that large 36-inch or 1 meter diameter treated water pipe that was on the south side of the river has now been completely pulled under the river through the bore and is now fixed on both sides, which is a great sign and a great indication for some work to continue to connect the treated water plant on the south side of the river to Giga-Texas in this area. So I'll show you some images of that on both sides of the river. Also on the south end near the parking area for all the new vehicles, one of my viewers, Desi Doolin, noted that there were some what appeared to be rumble strips and some other devices on a roadway that might be used for testing out the Model Ys. So today I give you a good view of that, and in these images you can kind of see what that looks like. I haven't actually seen any cars using it, but it is an interesting idea and may explain a little bit about where they're testing some of the vehicles. Then we go to the north end of the factory and I show you some more close-ups and images of the modular devices being brought to the paint shop. As you can see some of these images here, this continues the work that we documented on the previous video. And these are modular components that are put together to make a line for production, in this case paint. Now it might be another paint production area, or I've also heard that they're installing another oven system. So it could be one or the other, but nevertheless, this is another great capability that's being added to the paint shop. And the last thing I want to show you is on the north end at the electrical substation. I think they might have gotten to the point where permits are either completed or just about to be approved, because I saw a group of workers up there today surveying the area and talking about probably resumed work. So that's another great sign, so I'll be keeping a look for that over the rest of the week and into the rest of the month. So anyway, again, a very busy site today, a lot going on for this Monday, and I hope that you enjoy the talk and fly format through the video. Again, a lot more than what I just discovered or discussed here to see, but I do hope you enjoy that. Thank you again very much for watching. And also, just while you're watching the video, take an appreciation for all the workers that are working out in this environment. It's hot, it's humid, it's sticky, but they're still making tremendous progress. So anyway, again, thank you very much for watching and enjoy the video.
My drones are ready and raring to go. Let's go flying over Giga-Texas. We start this morning back at the directional drilling on the north side of the river, but some exciting developments here, as you can see as we get in a little bit closer. The inset photo shows a pipe with the device in red. It's called a swivel, and you can see it on the ground at actually Giga-Texas. This is what's connected to the pipe and is what the machines use to pull it through the drilled bore under the river. And previously, there was some issue with that swivel disconnecting from the pipe. They had to pull it completely out of the bore under the river back all the way to the south end, and I showed you that on my previous video. But since then, they were able to rebore the line underneath the river. They were able to reconnect the swivel to the pipe itself, and as I'm showing you here now, you'll note that that long purple pipe is no longer visible, and that is because it has been completely pulled under the river, and it is now anchored at both the south location here and on the north side. So this is great news. This means that the installation of the pipe through the horizontal drilling is now completed, and then crews can begin work to connect both sides of the river to the pipe and then extend it to, on the south side, to the treatment plant, and on the north side to service Giga-Texas. So here you can see the pipe in the bore at the very end of it. And I already showed you on the north shore where the pipe came through right about the equipment. So again, another major milestone has been completed. I expect to see a smaller pipe pulled through as well, and that's for those black pipes that you saw. But at least the one large 36-inch or 1 meter diameter pipe is now installed. I thought I would give you a view of the south end and just so you can see how everything looks today. South of the pond, you can see that material storage area for a lot of materials, especially the steel parts, and that continues to grow. You can see the parking area and transport area in concrete north of the pond. And on the west side is where cars are parked and then prepared for moving to the transport area. And as you can see, transports are still picking up the vehicles, and we'll get a closer view of that. But I wanted to bring the drone over here to show you some more close-ups of the material that are being delivered and stored here. Also, you can see crews are working on some of the materials as well. This area also, as we continue to go to the east, you'll see the fabrication area, and they continue to weld, modify, and fabricate some of the parts that are then either stored here or moved to other parts of the site. I still am not sure where these parts are going to be used, but the primary idea is that it's in the stamping extension structure, that the construction is continuing on the inside, but there's so many materials being delivered here that it may be for another area. But anyway, here you can see the welding that's going on and some of the fabrication that the crews are doing on this end of the material storage area. So as we continue to fly the drone towards the north, this just gives you an idea of how this east area looks. You can see that platform still waiting for it to be moved. You can see another vehicle and a specialized truck at the bottom of the screen. You can see a lot more of the Model Ys here as well, and yet another transport picking up vehicles, and it looks like there's 8 Model Ys on that particular vehicle. So continue to see vehicles being transported off-site, and as soon as one truck leaves, more trucks are arriving. And you can see just the overall production here. People ask me what the production rate is. I don't know, but I suspect it's still below 1,000 a day. Now as we come over here, this is that area I wanted to show you where the rumble strips are located and some other kind of like bumps for them to test the vehicles out. Again, this may be for testing of the Model Ys. It's similar to other areas that we've seen at some of the other Tesla factories. But as I mentioned in the intro, I have not actually seen a vehicle use it, but a sharp-eyed viewer, Desi Doolin, pointed this out, so I thought I would give you some closer views. So now as we approach the stamping extension structure, I'm trying to get the drone down low enough so you can kind of see inside some of the activity that is going on. It still looks like there's a lot of groundwork that is being worked on, maybe some preparation for foundations. A lot of materials are continuing to go in and out of that area, and as you can kind of peek inside, there's still a lot of construction that needs to be done to finish out this particular area. It is quite a large area that needs to be having the construction completed. So again, this is probably where most of that steel on the south end is going, but we'll continue to monitor that progress. As I pan more towards the west, you can see that platform area still being used to hoist a lot of materials that arrive up to the second floor of General Assembly. The bottom floor is also General Assembly as well. You can also see the operations with the superchargers on this side, preparing the brand new Model Ys for getting ready to go to transport. They're still just using these superchargers. The new ones, the 20 on the southwest corner, looks like they're still doing some work right now with the van and the worker there to get them ready for commissioning. I do expect to see this very soon, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how they use these for the expanded production of the Model Ys. So as we fly north along the west side of General Assembly, there's going to be a few things I want to highlight to you. First, these 4 cargo loading areas. It looks like the cargo levelers that are on the floor area have been completed, and I believe that they've been tested out, and so now they're functional, and it looks like they're ready for trucks to arrive. You can kind of get a peek inside this area. A lot of crates, and also there's that dividing wall which really segments this area out. Behind that wall, I believe, is where General Assembly lines 2 and 3 are being constructed. Now we're going to continue to fly towards that main entrance area. Big thing I want to point out is it looks like that temporary ramp has been removed on the north side. You can see those cones. So it was apparently temporary for the shareholders meeting. There's still going to be some sort of construction of permanent ones at some point. These trailers here are in General Assembly Line 1, serving that particular area, which is where most of the Model Ys are being built right now. And then there's this new area by this concrete ramp that's been had all the asphalt removed. They're preparing for this area to be concreted back in, but what I suspect is happening is we may see additional cargo loading bays added to the walls here as well as Giga-Texas production continues to ramp, or at least the installation of machinery and equipment to ramp up production continues. So continue to monitor this particular location and see how it develops over time. So let's go ahead and fly across the roof area. We'll look at some of the solar panel installation. I want to reconfigure the drone to complete more of the flight on the east side of the building, so we get a chance to see how some of the solar panels are being installed now and some of the other HVAC ducting or enclosures nearby that area, and just how this appears. We can also see how the T of Tesla is developing and the expanded sections of the solar panels, and it looks like crews are preparing to continue to expand the solar panel installation, and we'll get a closer view of that a little bit later in the video. But here, as we approach the east secondary entrance, I've been asked if it really is complete, if the windows on the angled sides at the ground floor are installed. It's really hard to tell, but I think that they are, so I believe that this area is pretty much complete. As we look at these loading docks, what I want to show you is you'll see a Martin Marietta cement truck at work on this one cargo loading bay. This was actually added, and it looks like they are preparing the cargo leveler location of the cargo bay to get that installed, so more progress. We also see this new cargo loading bay section, more plumbing, and then we'll see the rebar and concrete pretty soon. And on the temporary platform, we can see a lot of crates arranged around the base, and those will be loaded up and moved up to the second floor of the body in white, and that's another great sign of continued production capability expansion. This material storage location continues to have those crates, and just monitoring the details. Also going to show you this clearing location. More dirt is being brought in to some of the areas, and then it also looks like some excavation in others, so it's possible that they're using this location as maybe some dirt temporary storage for other locations around the site. This parking lot now has a lot more of these cargo trailers. This is kind of an expansion of the yard on the further to the east, and again, a lot of these trailers are what are used to bring production supplies and equipment to General Assembly. So I think that's another bullish sign. We've seen this parking lot be painted for the new vehicle temporary storage and transport pickup location, and also you can see that painted road around that the parking spaces. There's enough parking spaces here, assuming that they're the same configuration on the south, to hold about 400 vehicles. And if you figure that if they were able to completely empty that vehicle location by transports twice, we can that would be a significant increase in production numbers. So I'll continue to monitor that to see how it progresses. You can see the yard with a lot of the vehicles and trucks and trailers. A lot more are lined up to be marshaled into this location. And there's also that one with the steel parts. I believe those are going down to the material storage location on the south end. But I wanted to show you a closer view of all of these trailers. Again, this is part of the production supplies and equipment that are brought in to Giga-Texas, and these are used as sort of temporary warehouses and also some interesting deliveries along the way. As usual, there's quite a bit of details and progress going on at the battery cathode plant, so I'll try to give you a good view of that as we come in from this particular angle. First, you can see the yellow formwork on the base. That is the perimeter grade beam, and looks like it's pretty close to being able to get concrete poured. You can also see concrete has been poured on very long sections of the second and third floors now. More than half of the length of the building, those two floors have concrete. You can also see quite a bit of trenching and utility work on the ground floor level. You can see they have some lifting equipment now on the third floor, and again, all of this area is now in concrete. And you can see more of the trenching work on the ground floor. You can see a large area on the second floor with rebar prepared for concrete, and some on the north part of the third floor as well, and a lot more utility configuration below the drone right now. Some of it's for electrical conduits and connections. But here you can see the extension of the floor decking on the second and third floor now. Now it extends to about 3/4 the length of the building, and you can see that crews are actively installing the floor decking as we speak. So by the end of this day, most of the third floor will be caught up to where the second floor decking is being installed right now, and probably then by maybe midweek, most of the second and third floor will reach the north side. You can also see the tree and its location to the building as far as the roof and floor decking, so that gives you an idea of the progress as well. On the north end, this is just a good view of how that structure appears. The crews are completing the hardware installation for the steel, while other crews are again putting in that floor and roof decking. You can see some work on the ground level as well. You can notice that that large crane is now gone. All of the parts that were being disassembled have been trucked off site, so it is no longer required for this construction effort. And as we continue to fly to the south, this gives you just a better idea of the floor decking that has been installed, the preparations for the concrete, and then the extent that already has concrete on those second and third floors. You can also see on the columns for the exterior that crews continue to add the mounts for the concrete wall panels. Again, this will be very reminiscent to how the main Giga-Texas structure was completed for the wall panel, so it should look architecturally very similar. And this also gives you a good view of how much of the flooring has had the concrete poured. They're just really progressing very, very quickly. You can see these temporary stairs that have been installed, and on the ground level you can see permanent stairs waiting for installation. And finally, this open area, you can just see the way the installation of the utilities is getting to the point where they're all being filled back in for the trenching, which means that ground floor slab work should continue and begin in this particular area pretty soon. I wanted to fly back up over the building just to show you how the roof installation is coming along in this particular area. And it looks like they're preparing for installation of some of the roof finishing materials pretty soon. So now that we've completed the battery cathode area, I want to fly quickly over to the electrical substation and talk a little bit about what we see over here. As we discussed in the video intro, just before I did the video here, I flew the drone up and got some images of kind of a meeting of contractors in this particular area. You can actually see a couple of them standing up on this hill and some other recently delivered devices and a trailer. But I believe that what they were doing is they're surveying the area and preparing for work to continue here as the permit process, the approval process is nearing an end, and I think that we'll start seeing resumed activity in this particular location. You can also see the concrete pipes that were delivered in my previous video have now been stored in this location. And you can also see increased activity around these substation parts and all of the trailers. You can see some new equipment and of course all of the trucks for the contractors. So a very good sign that construction will resume in this particular location very, very soon. So as we approach back to the main building, what I want to do is fly up and show you the current status of the solar panel installation expansion. And it looks like preparation with some of the crews and some of the blue wrapped mounting racks to continue to expand. I'm not sure if it's going to be finishing out this empty location, the white here, or if it's going to go further to the south. But as you can see, they are preparing all the materials to continue the expansion of the solar panel installation. In addition to that, I'll fly the drone up to the northwest corner and show you just the current status of the HVAC ducting and enclosures. It looks like the third from the top is just about completed now, and still, although there's materials for the enclosures, no actual progress since the last video. Although there are some of these materials on this right corner being stockpiled, and it'd be interesting to see what those are as construction continues. Now that we're on the north end, I want to show you the progress with the grass installation as well as some of the lights and the irrigation system. For the most part, the irrigation system is now completed and operational. Along the base of the cyberberm concrete here, you can see the lights that are being installed to illuminate the cyberberms for a nice effect during the nighttime. You can also see the crews that are completing the north section of this with the grass and sod installation, and pretty soon they'll wrap around this particular corner, and then you can see the dirt area that's remaining for them to install all of the grass. So again, a lot of progress. I want to fly around this way just so you can see how the completion of the grass and sod installation on this side of the cyberberms appears. And again, all of the irrigation system is now operational. Some of the dirt area is just the remaining location where grass will be installed. Now that we're at the casting machine structure, I want to show you this interesting set of deliveries that are coming in. I'm not really sure what these are. Just because they're being stockpiled next to the casting machine structure does not necessarily mean that they are for the casting machine operation, but they might be. So if you are a viewer and you know what these are, let me know in the comments, and I would appreciate it. But let's take a view of them unloading some of the equipment. Now I'm going to fly the drone over to the paint shop where we see more of those green wrapped modular components prepared to be lifted up into the second floor. We have seen quite a bit of these arrive on site over the last 48 to 96 hours. As mentioned in the intro, this is a modular component for paint production, but it may actually be related to a large oven to cure the paint. Either way, it's a capability increase for Giga-Texas. You can also see this truck is delivering more of the components that I believe are associated with that modular section for the paint production. And then here we just show you some of the activity at the two platforms for the battery cell production location. And it looks like a lot of workers coming out on that third floor platform. Kind of interesting to see. So I'll do a pullback to the north just to give you an overall view of how the structure and landscaping and overall appearance of Giga-Texas continues to change and mature over time. I hope that you enjoyed this video and all the information that I presented, and again, thank you very much for watching.